Hey, Piping Red Beard here. Been a bit. Arg. I got a couple things to show you and talk a little bit about life happenings and everything else. So my wife got sick and she had this severe asthmatic bronchitis caused lung damage, and she was in the hospital. So I had to play Mr. Mom for a while. My favorite, by the way. And it's just been crazy. So it's finally getting back to normal. I can get back to some of my other projects and everything else, and there's other always fun stuff happening as well. But you know, today I wanted to do something awesome, and I picked up, I don't know if you can read that from there, but it's the LJ Peretti Thanksgiving Day blend. That's what we're going to do. So first things first, I'm going to use a Vermont Freehand Morta. Great little pipe. We'll talk a little bit about Morta in a minute, but let's move everything around here so I can get my Thanksgiving Day comes in a cake, 4-ounce cake, and I broke it up and so I put it in my jar, but it looks like that. So let's get this, a little bit of this broken up here to put in the pipe. It breaks apart really easy. Man, it smells amazing. Alright, let's put the rest of this on top here. And here's my uber scientific method. You put it in until it's good. That's my method. I just keep putting it in, pushing it down. I don't really stick my finger in the pipe though, but until I feel like the resistance I'm looking for with a kind of broken flake like that I rubbed out. It's not going to be really, yeah, so it's just a little bit of resistance, but it's still pretty open. I tend to be a fold and stuff, gotta put that back, a fold and stuff flake person. Oh, let's talk about this first. So it's been in the jar for only a couple days. It's only been in here a couple days. Okay. It comes in a plastic bag. It's been taped up. So I got it in here as soon as I could because I didn't want it hanging out. So now this is it smells so awesome. It's like there's a plum, apple kind of sweetness. There's like a earthy undertone. There's a leather there. Like a rum. It just smells like, it's like all these different things came together just right. I guess that would be what I would say it's more like is, you know how some guys take their ends of the tins and stuff that is not enough for a pipe bowl, they shove it into a jar and they put all the remnants in there, right? I do too. So there's a jar over here. Every time I get done with a particular tobacco and there's not enough left in the tin or something to get another bowl, I'll put it in that jar. And sometimes at the end of the year, or when the jar's full, really, it's not the end of the year, but you get something that's just magical, because it's like all these different flavors are married together and it comes out just really cool, unique. There's sometimes it's not really that good either. It just depends on what you've had, I suppose. But this Thanksgiving Day blend smells like like you meant to put all this stuff together and you did it just right. Let's light it up, shall we? My Corona Old Boy. I did finally pick one up. Figured I'd try a Flint Ignition butane. I actually really like it. It seems like a softer flame than a Bic, but not really that much different. So my initial thoughts, right? It's exactly as I described the tin note, where you take a lot of different things, you put it together, it comes together just magically and comes out beautiful. It's really good, and it's not a robust experience. It's pretty mellow, mild, but it's like a mild complexity, if there is such a thing. Let me read this is what they say. The dark, rich color denotes maturity, not strength. The tobacco will be found mild, mellow, of superb aroma and distinctive flavor. So, yeah, it's mild, mellow, superb aroma, distinctive flavor. So, they're saying exactly what I just told you. How should I describe this? Like you get a sweetness. It's not overpowering. You get this rich, smooth undertone. It's not overpowering. It's not really hot. It's pretty cool. It just tastes good. I mean, you could sit out like Thanksgiving Day. This is a Thanksgiving Day tobacco for sure, because it's a lot of different things going on, but it's not overpowering. It's like plum pudding, which is my absolute favorite, next to the haunting. They're both pretty good for me, but is pretty bold. Not so much that it's strong, but it's just like all the flavors are pretty intense. This is not. It's just a real mellow. You could smoke this all day and keep tasting different things. It's pretty amazing. So, why don't I'm going to enjoy this a little bit. I have to take a test in English, so I'll do that with my bowl of Thanksgiving Day. We'll come back around at the end of it and chat about the whole bowl experience, huh? See you in a minute. And we're back. I didn't do too bad on the test. I got an 88 on it. 70 out of 80 points. It's funny on these things. Sometimes I study the material really well, and I get mad at myself for not getting an A. And English 102 here, I don't care. I really don't. Just as long as I don't lower my GPA and I get I pass it, I don't really care. So it's not real difficult stuff. It's critical reading and writing, and I mean you got to learn you got to remember what some of the key pieces of like what a protagonist is, and what it would be another example, like a stock character versus a flat character versus a dynamic. I don't know, all that kind of stuff. Reading something and trying to, what would be the What would be an example of illusion here? Anyway, back to the tobacco. This is amazing. It's a little hotter now that it's halfway through, but it stays lit pretty well. I'm sure during the test I was puffing on it a little more than my usual, but it seems to be pretty good. It's such an enjoyable tobacco. It's still really complicated. I mean, I'm still tasting different things as I go. And it's just light, so, I mean, you could do that all day. That's the great thing. Man. I would really like to have this on hand all the time. So, let's talk about Morta. What is Morta? Morta is a semi-petrified oak. It's generally found in a really black color. They do have some lighter stuff. Like Paul's Pipes had some he made out of this Croatian mortar that was kind of two-toned looking. It was just absolutely gorgeous looking stuff. I just couldn't get the scratch together to do that. And these pieces of oak are kind of buried in swamps for thousands of years. I think Vermont Freehand, I don't know how old this is, but most of it's 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 years old that they make these pipes out of. And it's really difficult to tool. So it's very easy to crack and shatter when you're trying to make a pipe out of it. Because it's semi-petrified, though, it does not burn easily. It's kind of like a more durable meerschaum, if you want to think about it like that. So you don't want cake buildup, and you can just keep smoking it all day if you want, and it won't hurt it. So it's a fantastic material. A lot of people don't like the taste of it when it gets to when the first few bowls, when you're trying to get the thing you don't have to break it in, but that's what they don't like, the taste of the Morta. But I didn't really, with this one anyway, I didn't really have any kind of bad taste. Anyway, Thanksgiving Day Blend is a winner for sure. I might try to buy some more if they still have it. Let me see if I can find the price, because I was going to try to tell you that. So a 4-ounce piece of cake is $22 plus shipping. Morta stuff. Let me get back to this. I don't know if they have, like, you know how meerschaum has like pressed meerschaum, and you can get phony kind of meerschaum pipes for cheap or something. I don't know about that for the Morta. I thought about that the other day, and I haven't taken the time to look to see if that was like a thing or not. But it's a fantastic pipe. I wish this Vermont Freehand Morta had just a taller bowl, a little taller. But since you can go bowl after bowl, it really doesn't. It's really not a big deal. Man. And it doesn't flavor. It doesn't add any kind of overtone to the tobacco either. So if you really want to see how the blend tastes without any added coloring, like Briar does a little bit, until you build up a little bit of cake, and then it kind of doesn't anymore. I don't think, but yeah, I guess it does, because whatever ghosting you did do, whatever carbon that is, would do it. But yeah, if you want, there's no added weirdness on top of your blends. You can smoke it all day, as long as you just clean it out, is what I would say. So I highly recommend the Morta pipes. They're fantastic. Grab a meerschaum if you don't have one. Also very fantastic. So the one not pipe related, although I would say it is pipe related, I wanted to talk about playing Mr. Mom for all you dads out there. I've had the opportunity to do that several times throughout my kids', younger years here, being toddlers and babies and stuff. It's a challenge for me. I mean, it's not I don't feel like I'm very good at it, and it stresses me out. Having to get up, make sure animals are fed, girls are fed, clothes are in the washer, make sure I'm watching the time to get on conference calls and work all day. While I'm doing the work, though, intermittently trying to do that while I'm watching my girls or something, and then which doesn't work hardly. I mean, wow, try to have a conference call when you're watching toddlers is insane. Making sure they're fed and got their groceries, and you got the dishes done, and there's not food everywhere, and the girls make a mess, and you have to clean it up, and potty time, and it's a lot to handle, and I don't see how a single parent does it. I just don't. I mean, wow. And your bike time's limited because I'm always around my kiddos and doing that stuff. So when they take a nap, it's like you're trying to get done with stuff that you trying to do, whether it's clean up a mess or do the dishes or rotate the laundry, and by the time you get done with that, one of them's up from a nap, so you didn't get any pipe time, and it's fine. I mean, that's the great thing about, I guess, pipe smoking, is that I don't feel like I have to have it. I really want it, but I don't have to have it. So I did get the opportunity, though. My mother-in-law watched the girls every once in a while, and so when that happened, I was able to kind of get some pipe time in, get some real work done. We had some people that were helping us here and there with housework, so that was a great relief. A few meals were brought, that kind of thing. So all that really helped. I got to try the haunting. I bought 4 tins of it. I gave one away because I thought that was I didn't want to. I love the haunting. That's one of my favorite tobaccos of all time. I'll do a separate video on it because I want to talk about that one for a while, but just for the sake of you guys knowing that. But so the Thanksgiving Day, pick some up. It's fantastic. Playing Mr. Mom. Let's get back to this. So some tips for you dads who have kiddos. Maybe you haven't done this yet, but I would anticipate at one point you're going to have to do it at some point. You're going to have to do it. Some very clear things that for you. Make sure you know what clothes are what kids. If they're close together, that can be difficult. For me, it is, because my 2 daughters are really close. Make sure you know what medicines they take, and like if there's even a color of the vitamin that which one prefers what, that helps. If they prefer to take their medicine in a particular cup that's this color and it's here, that helps to know. If you got to sing a song for them to brush their teeth, you need to know that. If you got to sing a song for them to clean up their room, so they can sing it with you, and that's how you get them going on stuff. You need to know that. It's like colors of things, like which cup do they prefer. Sometimes, my girls are awesome. They are, but they they definitely have opinions about things. And when you're dealing with all that stuff going on, that's not the right time to start a new discipline or put your foot down on something. I mean, there's some things, but in general, that's why you want to know these things, so you don't have to have a battle when you're already having others. Okay, knowing all these little things will help quite a bit. So in the beginning, it was really rough because I don't normally put the clothes on the girls. I don't normally help them in the potty because my hands are freaking huge, and it's weird because it's a big paw, right? So generally my wife does that. Not that I haven't, but I'm just saying. So, knowing particulars about what they prefer here and prefer there, and I know what foods, because we kind of do that anyway, but I mean, that would be another thing. You got to know what foods they prefer. You can ask them, but it's not like they don't always eat stuff. So, man, all that stuff matters, though, when you're going through something like that, when you're having to do it and you're not done it that much before. What was funny is I had it's leaf apocalypse season here, and there was one. If you don't stay on top of it, they just get. It's like, it's like it snowed a foot of leaves. So you got to stay on top of it a little bit, or else it'll just build up and build up and build up, and then all your grass is dead. We got moss, so that's not as bad, but you still don't want it to sit there all winter. So I had one evening where I had like an hour and a half that I said, okay, I'm going to go do some yard work. And it was dry, which was great for the leaf blower, because when it's dry, it's when the leaves go easy, or you can move more because it's obviously not wet. And it creates a lot of dust, though. And on some places in my yard, it's like just dirt with leaves on it, and that's not really a big deal. But there are places where I want to keep clear because I'm going to try to grow grass. And wouldn't you know, my neighbor sends me a text. Hey, you're dusting me out, man. And it's like, it's not like that happens all the time. It's twice since I've lived here that there's been like a dust cloud go over his house. I shook my head because it's just silly. People have this weird thing about stuff, but anyway, playing Mr. Mom is interesting. It helps me appreciate my wife more. It does help me understand my girls and my kiddos more. There's some things like that that's really beneficial. Those are my Mr. Mom tips for you. The other thing is, you really need to, probably most important, you're going to be irritated. You're going to get frustrated. Being aware that you will, and that is going to be something you should look for, so you don't overreact. You don't snap. That's real important. Because, man, I know I got real close to just, overreacting to a couple things. And I did overreact to a couple things. I should say that. I did. And, it makes you feel even worse. Then you feel like, So, LJ Peretti in Boston, Thanksgiving Day blend in a Vermont Freehand Morta. Beautiful. Beautiful, man. Beautiful. Next video, we'll talk about a jumbo Boswell I picked up. And we'll probably enjoy some haunting. I do hope they come out with that in a production of some sort. It's fantastic. So that's all for today. Bye from Redbeard. Later.